He knelt on one knee, bending down to put shoes on me, but the words that came out of his mouth stabbed like knives. No, Chen Rui Shen's voice was soft, yet carried an undeniable firmness. His slender fingers clasped my ankle, deftly sliding the expensive lambkin's flats onto my foot. His fingertips were icy, and the touch against my warm skin made me instinctively flinch. He seemed to sense my resistance, pausing for a moment. But he didn't look up. He simply said flatly, "Shenzhen, don't be difficult. This marriage is very important to the Chen family. It's the best arrangement for you, and for the child." The best arrangement? I stared fixedly at the top of his head, at his impeccably groomed black hair, and the last shred of hope in my heart turned to ashes. So, in his eyes, the baby and I were just things that needed to be arranged. Chen Rui Sheng, I took a deep breath. Forcing down the dull ache in my lower abdomen, my voice hoarse but calm. "Do you really think money can buy everything, including my dignity and my love for you?" He finally finished putting on my shoes and stood up slowly. His eyes, usually deep and inscrutable, were now calm and unreadable, as if looking at a stranger throwing a tantrum. "This isn't a transaction. It's compensation." He pulled a black card from his pocket and placed it gently on the nightstand with a crisp click. "The house in America is being prepared. Once you're stable, I'll send you there. No one will know you. You can have the baby in peace." "I'm not going." I turned my head away, refusing to look at his disgusting face. "Chen Rui Shen, you're dreaming." He was silent for a moment, seeming to lose patience. He straightened up, looking down at me, a warning creeping into his tone. "Shenzhen, don't force me to do this the hard way. You know I can." I snapped my head back, my eyes red. "You dare. Chen Rui Shen, this is your own flesh and blood. Precisely because it carries my blood. I want to give it the best life, not have it suffer gossip and scandal in this circle with you." He stated his logic coldly, as if he were some great father. Suddenly, it all felt absurd. I laughed until tears streamed down my face. This was the man I had loved for 6 years, the father of my child. Just then, the hospital room door opened softly. A woman in a Chanel haute couture suit walked in. Her makeup was flawless, her demeanor gentle and graceful, and she carried an exquisite fruit basket. "How Rui Sheng is this?" "Miss Lin." The woman's voice was soft and proper. Her gaze swept over my protruding belly, carrying a hint of barely minus concealed disdain. Chen Rui Sheng turned. The hardness on his face melted instantly, replaced by a gentle expression. "Xiaowan, what are you doing here?" "By Xiaowan," the woman whose name had trended alongside his initials. She stood before me now, with the bearing of a victor inspecting her spoils. "I heard Miss Lin was hospitalized. I felt bad, so I came to see her." Bai Xiaowan approached, placing the basket on the table, looking at me with pity. "Miss Lin, I'm truly sorry. Are Rui Sheng and I, we truly love each other. I hope you can understand. If you have any conditions, please." "Name them." "Understand?" Looking at her hypocritical face, my stomach churned. I suddenly bent over, retching violently. "What's wrong?" Chen Rui Sheng instinctively moved to support me, but I pushed him away. Leaning on the edge of the bed, I gasped for breath. My face as pale as paper. I looked up at Chen Rui Sheng, whose face had instantly darkened, and curled my lips into a pale, resolute smile. "I understand you both," I said word by word. Chen Rui Sheng froze, clearly not expecting me to agree so easily. A flicker of delight passed through Bai Xiaowan's eyes. "But," I cut off their emerging smiles, "I will leave on my own. You don't need to send me to America. I don't want your house." "Wen Zai, don't be ungrateful." Chen Rui Sheng narrowed his eyes, anger in his voice. "I have a name," I said coldly, staring at him. "My name is Lin Zai. From today on, you and I, Chen Rui Sheng, are finished." With that, I threw off the covers, ignoring everything, and yanked the IV needle from my hand. Bright red blood welled from the puncture, dripping onto the white sheets, a shocking sight. What are you doing? Chen Yui Sheng exclaimed, a mix of shock and anger, reaching to grab my arm. I jerked back, protecting my belly, staggering to the corner. From under the pillow, I pulled out the phone and ID card I had hidden there yesterday with the help of a nurse. Don't touch me. I shouted sharply, a madness in my eyes I had never shown before. Chen Yui Sheng, if you dare try to keep me here by force, I will take your child and die with me. Do you believe me? The air in the room froze solid. Chen Yui Sheng stood rigid. Seeing the determination to die in my eyes, he finally realized I wasn't joking. He clenched his fists, his knuckles white, his chest heaving, but in the end, he didn't take another step forward. Fine. Very well. He gritted out through clenched teeth. Lindsay Hie. You'll regret this. My only regret is ever knowing you. I tossed the words at him, grabbed my coat, and ran out of the room without looking back. Cold air swept through the corridor. Leaning against the wall, I gulped in the cold air. The pain in my abdomen grew more intense, as if someone were twisting a knot inside me. I knew. I had agitated the baby. I might even go into early labor. But I couldn't stop. Behind me came Chen Yui Sheng's furious roar and the sound of hurried footsteps. He was chasing me. Gritting my teeth, I summoned all my strength and ran towards the hospital's back entrance. I knew that once I passed through that door, I would no longer be the caged canary. I am Lindsay Hie. I will take my child and start anew. The icy raindrops pelted my face like frantic drumbeats, mingling with tears I hadn't realized I was shedding, stinging with their salty bitterness. I stumbled out the hospital's back door, the flats put on in haste. Weren't on properly, one heel was twisted. The searing pain in my abdomen was a tightening net, each breath tugging with a tearing agony. Lindsay Hie. Stop right there. Chen Yui Sheng's enraged roar chased me through the thunder. I could almost picture his handsome, now minus contorted face. Wild and livid. I didn't dare stop. I didn't dare look back. Footsteps behind me grew closer, carrying a suffocating pressure. Clenching my jaw, I ran desperately, shielding my belly. But my body's limits crumbled mercilessly now. A shrill cry tore from my throat. A rush of warmth gushed from between my legs. Accompanied by a violent contraction, my vision went black. My knees gave way, and I crumpled heavily into the muddy, waterlogged ground. The rain instantly soaked through my clothes, a bone-minus steep child. I tried to push myself up, but my fingers sank into the mire, nails tearing, blood mingling with the rainwater, spreading a faint pink stain. And why aren't you running? A tall shadow loomed over, blocking the dim yellow street twide. Chen Yui Sheng stood in the rain, looking down at me, soaked through. His expensive suit clung to him, water dripping from his chin. His eyes, usually so unreadable, were now bloodshot like a cornered, enraged beast. He knelt, gripping my chin hard, forcing me to look up at him. For that so minus called dignity to spite me? You risked the baby's life? His voice trembled, whether from rage or fear. I gasped for air, cold sweat mixing with rain burning my eyes. Chen. Yui Sheng? I forced out his name, my voice a frail thread yet lost. You are utterly unreasonable. His fingers tightened, the force nearly crushing my jawbone. Today, whether you want to or not, I'm taking you back. He bent down, about to pick me up by force. Just then, the urgent wail of a siren pierced the rain, followed by the glare of headlights cutting through the downpour. Let her go. A clear, urgent male voice cut through the curtain of rain. A black SUV screeched to a halt by the curb. The door flew open, and a man in a white lab coat rushed into the rain under a black umbrella. Without hesitation, he placed himself between Chen Yui Sheng and me. Wu Chen, the youngest chief of surgery at City First Hospital. Aside from Chen Yui Sheng, He was the only person in this city I remotely knew. My senior from university. He had quietly helped me a few times with minor ailments when Chen Yuisheng was away, always gentle and polite. Dr. Liu. Chen Yuisheng clearly recognized him too, frowning, a flicker of disgust in his eyes. This is a private family matter. You'd do best not to interfere. Mr. Chen. Lu Chen's voice was chillingly calm. He tilted the umbrella completely, shielding me on the bloody water beneath me. She's hemorrhaging severely. She could go into shock at any moment. If you don't want her to die by your hand, step aside. Now. Lu Chen's gaze shifted past Chen Yuisheng, landing on my face. When he saw my paper-white pallor and the expanding pool of blood beneath me, a flash of anguish crossed his usually steady eyes. Yi, don't be afraid. I'm here. He spoke softly, then ignored Chen Yuisheng. He took off his white coat and draped it around me. Move! Chen Yuisheng, clearly enraged, reached to grab Lu Chen's collar. Lu Chen sidestepped, avoiding the move, and simultaneously pulled out his phone, holding the screen up to Chen Yuisheng's face. Chen Yuisheng, you'd better look clearly. Lu Chen's voice held a warning. This car has a dash cam, and I've already called the police. If you don't want the headline Chen Group Air causes pregnant woman's death outside hospital tomorrow, go ahead. Chen. Yuisheng's movement froze. He stared deathly at Lu Chen, chest heaving, rainwater tracing paths down his face like wending serpents. Lu Chen. Very good. Chen Yuisheng spat the words through gritted teeth, his gaze shifting venomous lie to me. Lindsay Hie, where do you think you can run? Even if this child is born, it will only be a bastard. Slap. A crisp sound cracked through the rainy night. Lu Chen withdrew his hand, looking coldly at Chen Yuisheng, who held his cheek, disbelief written all over his face. That slap was for Zhie. Chen Yuisheng, you're utterly rotten. With that, Lu Chen paid no more attention to the man frozen in place. He bent and carefully gathered me into his arms. The pain in my belly forced a moan from my lips. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Lu Chen's voice sounded by my ear, carrying a reassuring strength. His embrace was warm. Through his silk shirt, I could feel the heat from his chest. Hey, opened my eyes groggily, looking at his rain-drenched profile. My eyelids grew heavier. Lu Chen, save my baby. Okay, I'll save you. And the baby. Lu Chen carried me swiftly to the car, settling me in the back seat. He took off his jacket and pressed it beneath me, trying to staunch the relentless flow of blood. The car started and sped away. From the rearview mirror, I took one last look at the man standing in the rain. Chen Yuisheng remained, a statue abandoned in the storm. He watched the receding tighlights, the rain washing the blood from his face. For the first time, his eyes held an emotion that could be called panic. But, in the end, he did not give chase. Because Lu Chen was right. He prized his reputation too much. The Chen family's name meant everything. The car sped faster. The windshield wipers thrashed madly, unable to clear the darkness from my vision. Hold on. Ghie, the hospital is just ahead. Lu Chen's voice grew fuzzy. My consciousness began to sink into boundless dark. Just before I completely lost myself, I felt only a violent, wrenching pain in my abdomen, as if something was being torn away, and yet as if some new life was struggling fiercely to remain. Baby, I murmured, and finally fell into oblivion.